This is Elizabeth Lane. She is an American of Georgian origin. From the little of Red, she started a career in acting and producing. She also has some education in international relations and law, though I'm not certain to what extent. She calls herself an independent journalist who seeks to, quote, break free from mainstream narratives, end quote. Elizabeth has spent a lot of her time over the last couple of months writing pro Putin, anti Western takes on Twitter that I personally believe were meant to cozy up to the new rights, the Tucker Candace clique. Now, Candace Owens only needs to see someone who will wholeheartedly sing her praises and join whatever cause she's on. So last week, Elizabeth had Candace on her show, and this is part of the wisdom that was served.
Go to sleep, and he comes to me, and I don't know, you tell me if that's like Charlie. He hugs me for some reason, smiles, and he's like, "You're doing just fine." I never knew him personally, but he was smiling and he hugged me and he's like, "You're doing just fine." So I remember like just asking him like, "Who killed you?" So I did. I was like, "Who killed you?" Like that would be easier to tell me, like, who killed you? And you know what he said? He said the same people that killed JFK.
Wow, you had this in your dream.
In a dream.
Wow.
I woke up at 4 a.m.
The funniest part of that interaction is how you can see in real time Candace have delivered to her the pure manure that she has given us over the last 8 months following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. That wasn't the only absurdity in this interview, but before I proceed, I would like to address something that I'm sure a lot of Candace fans and apologists will bring up. Why don't you debate Candace? A lot of people that don't like Candace never debate her. First off, I'm not relevant enough to debate Candace, and second, this is hardly debatable. This is not a series of facts that can be misinterpreted or misunderstood. This is pure gossip. It's feelings, it's true crime-esque poo. It is gossip, and that is Candace's shtick. That's what most of this, if not all of this, is. It is gossip that was birthed by Candace 8 months ago and nurtured by her. It's now being raised by a village of fiendish predators that have descended on the legacy of Charlie Kirk and won't let go. Back to Elizabeth. Just like her idol, Candace, Elizabeth refers to any dissenting view as coming from Zionists. If she does anything that sparks any outrage, it is paid Zionist propaganda. It simply can't be the very reasonable explanation that people have identified the way she's slithered her way into these circles, and that the content that she and her clique constantly spout out is vile, and most people naturally will recoil from that. The word debate is thrown around a lot in this podcastistan, if we can go with that name, but I just want to state something categorically. There is no way to debate in good faith a random podcaster claiming that TPUSA execs met at Fort Huachuca as part of a cover up operation, and Mitchell Snow, a highly unreliable person to say the least, happened to be the sole witness. Just no way to debate that in good faith. Elizabeth, just like Candace, also believes she has this divine right to demand the attention of high profile individuals to answer questions if they, quote, have nothing to hide. Some months ago, Candace Owens spoke to Russell Brand, a very good friend of hers, and she expressed to him what she viewed as, let me summarize it in my own words, inadequacies of the Trump administration when it came to the investigation into the Charlie Kirk murder. She said something to the effect of, I thought we, Trump, the FBI, were all gonna come together and find out what happened to my friend. But that wasn't the case. They just didn't care. I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact quote. I couldn't find the video. That didn't happen, so she was forced to take this battle on her shoulders and be his David. Along the way, she's been assisted by her mommy sleuths and others who would not allow the Zionists to take over his legacy. When she made that statement, I saw it as very important. I saw it as very poignant because I knew it was going to be the defense for everything that took place since. It's sort of been it set the stage for everything that's transpired since. It was going to be the defense for anything. If the Trump administration didn't care, they were involved. Candace alluded to that. That was a teaser to the Mitchell Snow episode. She said something to the effect of, today is the day our military can no longer deny their involvement in the Charlie Kirk assassination. Okay, so they've gotten smeared. And then went to his associates. So very quickly, TP USA executives started getting smeared, then his pastors, then his producers and best friends. But weren't quite there yet. We had to get to Erica, his wife and the mother to his, I believe, two children. Candace wasn't there. She just needed someone to do her dirty work for her until she could finally take the reins. That way, she could play the role of the restrained one, the one who held everyone back from attacking Erica until her deceitful nature could no longer be ignored. So, within that period, everything from eye makeup to leather pants to stage props to hugs, everything that could be criticized by Erica is criticized until Queen Candace could give her stamp of approval with an investigative series into Erica's life to match.
Obviously, you don't like. I wanted to like find like just like Charlie. It's okay. Like you're gonna find a girlfriend, whatever. And so when Erica, then Tyler Boyer sets up this like, I have this person for you to meet. And he comes and he's like, oh, well, she's a bit older. And initially he was like, I'm just going to use her to try to like get so and so jealous or whatever, because this was like the first date or whatever. And then she was a bit more persistent and giving him the godly spiel. And the messages, and I'm just going through our messages, like, look, this is maybe what God wanted me to have. And, he was sort of wrapped in on, hooked on that because Charlie was a Christian. And so when I went to meet her, my thought process was, this is probably just going to be a girlfriend, but I'm glad because this will nurse his like, broken heart. And also he'll realize there's other people and great. Obviously, my first instinct as a woman was that she was older than me. And I just thought that's kind of weird that she would be into Charlie because Charlie's quite young in those ways. He's an absolute genius. He's got so much going for him, but like he's young in those ways. Like I'm like telling this kid to like wear a suit that fits him, and he was inexperienced and he's been very open about the fact that like he was a virgin when he got married. So I don't feel like I'm oversharing here.
I wanted us to watch that clip because it was one of the many absurdities of that interview. If you want to watch that interview, you can feel free if you want to lose any brain cells. But it just, what will make a married woman with kids obsess over another woman's marriage to this point? Erica, pardon me, Elizabeth in this clip is so taken by the revelation of Charlie's virginity, which she goes on later to describe as sweet and cute. But here's the thing. Anyone, in my opinion, who listened to Charlie Kirk over the years will not be remotely surprised by that. It makes sense. It was something he preached. It actually would have been quite surprising had the opposite been true. It would not have been something that I think he should have been judged for per se, but it would have been quite surprising. The point I'm making here with that clip is that wasn't Candace's place to say that. It would have been fine if Erica had said that, but that wasn't Candace's place to say. That would have been Charlie's place to say anything on his virginity. How tasteless is it of you to discuss on another man's virginity, other women he dated before he got married, just because you don't like his widow? But I digress. I just wanted to get to my final point. None of these people knew, liked, or respected Charlie. And before you start hollering at me, I'm not including Candace Owens, pardon me, in that set. She has her own category. I'm referring to the Ian Carrolls, the Morgan Ariels, the Elizabeth Lanes, the Baron Colemans, the Zach Costellos, all these people who have become very famous over the last 8 months. I'm forgetting a bunch of names, so let's just stick to the ones I've mentioned. They all have different roles to play, these people. Some of them, like Ian Carroll and Morgan Ariel, continuously, they spend months, they continuously harangued and insulted Charlie on a regular basis because they didn't agree with his stance on the conflict in the Middle East. They thought he surrounded himself with those Zionists and he was a traitor of some sort. Others, like Elizabeth Lane, weren't and aren't even involved or interested in conservatism in any way. They have correctly identified a conspiratorial thirst among people on the right who are dissatisfied with the Trump administration's handlings of the Epstein files, and most importantly, Israel. I know this video is supposed to be about Elizabeth Lane, but the nucleus of this very corrupt cell is Candace. This is why it keeps coming back to her. Elizabeth Lane is only a pawn on the chessboard. Sure, she's benefiting from this. I think she's seen the likes of Ian Carroll, Dave Smith, Carrie Prejean Baller, all who attach themselves to Candace to increase their cachet and social media influence. This is hardly a secret. It is a lovely symbiotic relationship where Candace has an army of individuals who will bleat her baseless theories and insist that anyone who questions them must have something to hide, is complicit, or a Zionist. That's usually the starting base for these people. If any of these people, including Elizabeth, were smart, they would realize how Candace has burned bridges with a lot of people and how quick she is to reveal a text message or anything that's said to her in confidence. This may seem like a smooth sailing ship for now until any of them step out of line. If anyone wants a reference, there was a period Candace met with Erica in person, and when Candace returned, there was a rift between her and her audience. I just want to put that out there and leave it at that. In the meantime, Elizabeth, I'm sure, is very happy to inform us or find out that she's gotten the most views that she's ever gotten on her channel or on any of her channels across all social media platforms, thanks to the Candace Owens interview. She's also very bravely fighting Twitter trolls who have any objections to the absolute dog shit that she served in the interview, with a long Twitter take to go with it. This cycle is sadly not ending anytime soon. I'm sad to report. Take care and be good people. Talk to you soon.